Oh, the weather outside is frightful.
But inside is so delightful.
It's Christmas in July.
Let's review.
Let's review.
Let's review.
You.
And me. Season 3. All right. Well, we kind of got the unison thing kind of off at the start, but I'd say that wasn't bad. I'd say that was a worthy B. A worthy B.
Bum.
Bum. I forgot the bum. I forgot the bum.
Yes.
Wow. Good job. Good job, Tiki. Good job. Well, folks, I would say that's a C performance. But you know what? You know what's an A performance?
What?
It's the Movie Machine Podcast! It's what happens when you take 4 funny people and improv a movie based on a random story generator really, really fast, featuring Kyle Decker, Jacob Gulliver, Ben Lifson, and a host of others. All kinds of wacky and random topics, all kinds of crazy actor pairings that you would never expect. Check it out, Hot Chocolate Media. .net. I am getting really efficient at that promo. Really efficient at it. Okay, folks. We're back with Christmas in July 2016. Have Yourself a Goofy Little Christmas is next on the docket. It's part of our Disney category that we like to go with. Now, Jacob, you're here for a couple reasons. A, you're a big Humphrey the Bear fan. I think it was a big surprise for you that Humphrey the Bear is featured here.
And borrowing my brief cameo from last time.
Right, which I apologize for.
It's fine. It's my fault too.
Yeah, but I should have invited you beforehand. Anyways, but B, Jacob, you were with us for the Goofy Movie and the Extremely Goofy Movie podcast, the commentaries that we did. So I feel it's only appropriate that you're here to talk about Goof Troop, because Goof Troop is basically like the predecessor to Goofy Movie. It's weird, because Goof Troop kind of did the whole Pixar aging the characters 10 years thing before Pixar did. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So Jacob, do you have any strong memories with Goof Troop?
I remember it was actually one of the few Disney cartoons that was new around when I was growing up. And like that weren't all reruns.
Right, like Goof Troop was kind of like in the very early 90s. It was after, I want to say it was like DuckTales came first, and then it was like after stuff like Gummy Bears. I think after stuff like Tailspin. I'd have to look it up exactly. I think Goof Troop was kind of like the last of the Disney afternoon cartoons that were really solid before they started veering into like the Mighty Ducks, the Quack Pack, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, probably. Well, maybe it wasn't. I mean, I was born in '94, so maybe it wasn't new when I first watched it. But I do remember watching it when I was younger.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I do remember watching it when I was younger, like among shows like DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, all those.
Mm-hmm.
All of them stand out. We're going to talk about Goofy.
Yep.
No,
DuckTales, unfortunately, does not have a Christmas special. We learned that last year when we were trying to seek it out, but we found out that the DuckTales Christmas special comes in the form of a children's book. I think that's such a missed opportunity, though, with Scrooge. It's like, god damn it. I'm still on my Fusion Scrooge high from last night.
Well, you know, why don't you just read it?
I don't know. I should. I don't know how I would get my hands on it. I probably have to go through eBay or something.
Well, maybe the new series will have a Christmas special.
Maybe.
I have high hopes for the new series.
Do we have a date on that?
No, I don't think it's announced yet. It's like 2017 or something.
Oh, it's still 2017. Okay, so it's still a while away. All right, cool.
Yeah, like they'll probably announce it sometime this year or something.
Uh-huh. All right. Anyways, yeah, I think Goof Troop is definitely like... It's one of the more inoffensive of the Disney afternoon lineups. I think it's kind of like one of the more... It took more of a formulaic approach than something like DuckTales, because the unique thing about DuckTales was DuckTales would always do these kind of like, you know, these week-long story arcs and stuff like that, and they have like kind of like a big Indiana Jones-style adventure undercurrent to them. Darkwing Duck was obviously kind of like a, you know, we've talked about this, Dragon. I grew up with Darkwing Duck. You grew up with Batman the Animated Series. Darkwing Duck was very much the comedy Batman of the Disney lineup. And then you had Gargoyles, which was kind of genuinely like the Batman, the animated series of the Disney
that
lineup.
Definitely was the definitive kind of, that was your Disney version of Batman.
I remember someone, like in my family, probably my sister, didn't want me to watch that because it was like so dark or something.
Right. I'll always remember Gargoyles for having the promo before, in front of the Nightmare Before Christmas VHS. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you're a 90s kid, right?
I never had the VHS.
You know exactly what I'm talking about.
I never had the VHS for 9.
Oh, I'm sorry. Dragon, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
You know.
I tell you one thing, I remember the
And also Angels in the Outfield, and also the Mighty Ducks, D2, the Mighty Ducks.
So many Mighty Ducks. There's too many Mighty Ducks.
It's not just the Mighty Ducks, it's D2, the Mighty Ducks Strike Back.
God. I remember the Gargoyles, Freakazoid somehow snuck a Gargoyles reference in the show, which is hilarious, where Freakazoid, he's like perched on a gargoyle telling his life story, looks a little similar to the main gargoyle. The show gives him like a candy bar, something to shut him up.
So like I said, I do think that, I kind of pointed out like some of the offbeat nature of the Disney afternoon stuff. I think Goof Troop is kind of like more of your standard like animated sitcom thing. It's definitely kind of it definitely kind of takes the trope of like the annoying, the neighbors living next door to each other and annoying each other, and puts that in a cartoon and does it with Goofy and Pete, and that's basically and then of course you've got the raising the sun thing, and I don't know, the things about Goof Troop that really don't hold up I think are Max. Like, Max is way more likable as a teenager than he is as a kid, I think.
Yeah, he's definitely a product of the...
Oh, Jesus Christ, yes.
Definitely a product of that era.
That being said, Rob Paulson's TJ is still, or PJ is... I appreciate Rob Paulson in anything he's in, so I can't...
Rob Paulson's such an accomplished performer.
Right. But, alright, is that it? Is that about it for the background on this thing?
Rob Paulson's barely not amazing.
Oh, of course.
I mean, I'm sure there's something he's done that's been bad, but I've never found it.
I mean, he's even made an ice cream cone compelling. He has a talking ice cream cone.
Okay.
I mean, maybe he did like voiceover work for a car commercial or something, and he had an off day. I don't know.
I'm sure there's some roles he's done that he's not proud of either.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like even if he does a good job in them, I'm sure it's like, oh God. But I don't think PJ is one of them. I actually think PJ is a much better written. I mean, maybe it's just the Rob Paulson thing. Maybe because I think the voice actor who plays Matt, or the voice actress, I think, who plays Max is just incredibly grating. But I don't know. I do think that PJ is kind of like, he's the less dated of the two kids. You know what I mean? He feels more timeless.
Yeah. It's pretty seamless, PJ's voice to a kind of teenage, in college age.
Sounds almost the same.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
We gotta remember, it's a lot more shouldered on Max for the movie, so that's why you kind of need more of kind of a compelling voice. And in Max's case, he's kind of like just a fixture of like, okay, well, we need the teenage son character of Goofy, and they kind of realized, I guess,
Max is fucking Bart Simpson, man. And we're gonna talk about the Simpsons references in this thing.
Well, considering that actually Bart Simpson is in this show.
Pretty much. I mean, you mean Nancy Cartwright? Basically,
Pistol.
Yeah, Pistol, and she's basically playing fucking Bart Simpson. It's
kind of awesome, though. It's pretty funny.
I don't know. It was kind of like, yeah, I get it. It's Nancy Cartwright, but still, it just kind of took me out of it. We'll get into it. I think we should just jump into the recap, shall we?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, Jacob, you have notes and everything?
Basic notes, but yes.
Cool. Okay, so we start out with Goofy. Let's knock a trope out right now, Dragon. We start out with Goofy decorating and singing Christmas carols, so bam, 1-2 punch right away.
Here's a character trait with Goofy is that we noticed in the Once Upon a Mickey special we talked about, in the Goofy Max show over again, that's kind of like in the whole Goof Troop line. We're not quite sure how things go.
The Goof Troop universe.
Yeah, we're not quite sure how the continuity of the Goofy movies and this show and everything goes hand in hand, but we know
sure it's all supposed to be like Goofy movie is just a continuation of Goof Troop.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I'm pretty sure.
All right, fair enough. Regardless,
I mean, it begs the question like, where is Pagan Pistol in Goofy movie? But
Yeah, it's the point is like it's not nailed in cement. It's not exact.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Regardless, the point is like in that continuity, it's also got a question like if that trick is Mike because Max in that. I'm trying to think what the short was called. Point is like a very not a very Goof Christmas. That's this one. Point is, that whole special starts out with Goofy decorating the house and he's singing. It's like a thing Goofy does. I like they're kind of keeping a bit of character continuity on that one. Of like he always loves decorating around the holidays and always loves singing his Christmas songs while he's doing that. So let's say Goofy and Max are decorating the house in the cold snow. It's getting a little much like any kid in the situation. It's fun decorating, but it gets a little extraneous when you have a perfectionist decorator such as Goofy or Clark Griswold in this case.
Goofy is very much Clark Griswold in this scene. Yes.
In this episode is very much like Clark Griswold with all the decorations. He goes overboard with it. So let's see. So the Goofy goes above and beyond with the decorations while singing. Then he clumsily tries to put on Santa's giant head. When your Santa requires more than one man to put on just his head, you've gone too far.
I don't know if the people from Christmas with the Cranks would agree with that. I think they think the more heads it takes to put on Santa, the better.
Yeah, I don't really have a... I remember that came out around the same time as The Incredibles, that movie, and the people I was with told me to see that instead of The Incredibles.
That's a bad memory. That's a bad memory, dude.
I did see The Incredibles though.
Fair enough.
You made the right choice. He's no dummy.
I'm just saying, like, if The Incredibles was out and I haven't seen it and I was to ride to Christmas with the Cranks, oh man. Anyways, so
so what happens?
Goofy somehow, I forget exactly how, but he somehow just kind of flies through the air as Santa. Like, he has the sleigh, right? And
yeah, he falls inside Santa's head. He's got like this whole sleigh get up on the roof. Basically, the sleigh and the 8 reindeer. He kind of falls into that. A whole bunch of goofy shenanigans ensue. He ends up flying off the roof, getting launched on something. He gets launched off the roof in a sleigh pulled by eight fake reindeer, E.T. style, against the moon. Landing right inside Pete's chimney as Pistol sees him on crossing the moon and thinks, "Oh my God, it's Santa! Let me get the milk and cookies." We then see Goofy, pretty much unbrick all the chimney. As he goes down, and there's Santa's giant head sticking out of the fireplace. As Pete's just trying to read or do his crossword puzzle, whatever, just sitting on the couch. And he is greeted. Our giant head of Santa is greeted by Pistol. Short nose, doesn't have the milk and cookies, but she has bagels, chips, and guacamole.
Yeah. Well, she's thoughtful.
The thought that counts.
Exactly.
Yep,
exactly.
That's our cold open, folks.
Okay, so we come back and Pistol's kind of going a mile a minute talking about, like, what is it? She's talking about, like, getting a real tree, right? Something like that.
No, it's a bunch of stuff.
That was before. I think that was before the Santa thing.
Maybe.
What?
That was before. That was during while Goofy was doing that, and Pete was talking about how he hated Christmas.
No. That's now.
He hated
that's
decorations.
now.
He had decorations, and then Goofy crashed into their house.
No, he might be right. I think Pete does kind of make an offhand comment about Christmas, right? As Goofy crashes in. Well, regardless.
He might be making a comment, but he's not regardless. Anyway, so Pete's decorating the small fake tree.
That's it. And then Pistol's kind of going on about how she wants real pine cones on her tree and stuff like that.
Yep. Then the dog Chainsaws is like kind of tugging on the lights and just like fighting Pete with the lights. Pistol's asking directly, okay, well, why the fake tree? And then Pete's rationale is just kind of out of frustration. Again, I like how we do kind of see, out of all the kids, Pete is very, he's loving towards the daughter, from what I understand.
Oh boy, we got echo.
Yeah, Jacob, I think we got echo on your end.
I wasn't saying anything.
No, not from you, from me, on your end.
Well, I don't hear anything now.
Well,
all right,
okay. All right, so Chainsaw is like tugging on the lights. Pete's asking. Pete's just gonna give.
So, anyways,
let's see. What was I saying? Point is, I like that Pete. He's really loving towards his daughter, from what I understand. So I love that he's just kind of like he's just giving like the very honest answer to her. Always goes like all sorts of nicknames in the Pete household in this episode, like all the nicknames Peg has for him and all that sort of stuff. He's just saying because my neighbor has a real one, I don't want to be anything like him.
And then Nancy Cartwright drops the "Don't have a cow, man," which I'm honestly not crazy about.
Don't have a cowbell.
Cowbell. She says cowbell.
Don't have a cowbell, man.
Oh, she says don't have a cowbell. Well, I'm still not crazy about it because we all know what she's referencing.
I don't have a cowbell, man.
It's just like, hey, in case you didn't know, we're in the 90s. Bart Simpson's popular right now.
I have a fever. The only prescription is more cowbell, man.
All right,
cowbell. Red poinsettia.
So we have Peg, and I love Peg, and I think it's kind of a shame that she wasn't in a Goofy movie, although I understand why she wasn't, because a Goofy movie was all about fatherhood and whatnot. And you know what?
And
that's kind of why I accept Peg not being in a Goofy movie and it being in the same continuity, because I just kind of think it's Pete and PJ having like a father-son bonding trip.
I mean, look, I was introduced to it again, but the movies before Goof Troop, so that's... Plus, I never liked kind of the younger, goofy design we have in this show. Like seeing more of the face over the black parts of his head.
Right. Yeah, I hear you.
Anyway, let's see.
Peg, I think, has always been kind of like the best part of the show. Like, especially Peg and Pete's dynamic. Like, Peg and Pete together is definitely the funnest part of the show.
Very true, and I love.
They could probably do a show themselves.
Oh, they could. I actually think there was rumors, or maybe like. I want to say that was a thing that was going to happen, Jacob. I really want to say that was a thing that was actually going to happen. I could be wrong about that, but anyways.
Yeah, Peg, voiced by the wonderful April Winchell.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
does work for them to this day.
Right.
Yep.
So let's see. Peg wants Pete to be more... Pete, why can't you be more festive?
Which, honestly, Dragon, I feel like we've heard that exact same line uttered in every Christmas special we've tackled so far in Christmas in July.
Well, when you have a Scrooge, you kind of need that line.
Like, we've heard it with Lois, we've heard it with, I want to say we heard Billy probably said it with Mandy, I want to say.
Well, probably Grim the Mandy. I'm saying that they're not the exact same line, but the same message is expected.
Right. And so let's nail it down right now. Pete is obviously the Scrooge. I think he's probably a light Scrooge because really he's into the Christmas spirit. He's kind of like the Squidward. You know what I mean? His neighbor's just kind of pissing him off.
He just doesn't like Goofy.
Right. It's like, it's not really that he doesn't have Christmas spirit. He wants to have Christmas spirit. He's kind of like Archie Bunker in a way in the Archie episode. You know what I mean? In All in the Family, Dragon.
Yeah, I really like Pete. And from what I hear, the Pete side of things are more interesting than Goofy side of things in this show.
Absolutely.
From what I've heard.
Oh yeah.
Let me give it credit. Let me give it props here before I forget about it. I love how Pete is designed and animated in this show. I just love kind of like in the suit jacket. I love how they animate the shoulders on him. It's all really good stuff. And of course, he's always on model. It looks really good. At least in this episode. And
it wouldn't be anything without the Jim Cummings' magnificent voice work.
Oh, God.
Of course.
I think Pete might be like the definitive Jim Cummings performance. It might be.
I think it's what he's most famous for.
It might, yeah.
That or Tigger. What about Winnie the Pooh and Tigger?
Yeah, it's close between those two.
I would say Pete is distinctly his, though. Those are kind of... I know Pete's been around before Jim Cummings, but I think Pete usually didn't really speak.
Was Jim Cummings the original Tigger?
No, that's Paul. That was Paul Winchell.
Okay, well, you see, it's like... Yeah, I think, like, Jim Cummings made Pete his own, whereas, it was Paul Winchell and then Sterling Holloway who originated Pooh and Tigger. So that's why I definitely think Pete is more kind of like the definitive.
I think you're right on that, T. I think that sounds accurate. That's Jim Cummings' stamp.
Right.
Yeah, I'd probably go with Pete. I mean, that's probably what he's most famous for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That is the Aladdin guard, honestly enough.
That's fair, too, but I think, you're right.
Like, I don't even know that guy's name. I know he has a name from the TV show, but... What?
His name is Raul.
Okay, right. Okay, anyways.
I think it's mentioned in one of the sequels.
He's right. Jacob's right.
So I like this line though. Pete just doesn't like Christmas. He doesn't like decorating, and apparently there was a really dramatic incident called the Twilight Fiasco of '89, which
the Twinkle Light.
The Twinkle Light. Yeah, I'm sorry, you're right. The Twinkle Light Fiasco of '89, which made me laugh.
But now, look, you're right. You're very right about the Archie.
It probably involves Goofy. What do you want about the Twinkle Light incident? It involves Goofy in some way.
And so many people died. So many deaths. So many.
God. Why you gotta make it so morbid?
The Twilight Fiasco of '89. So many lost lives.
The Twinkle.
Goofy.
I keep saying Twilight. I'm sorry.
Why did you write down Twilight?
I didn't write down Twilight. I'm having a dyslexia moment. I'm literally having a dyslexia moment right now. I'm sorry.
Anyway. Something I want to mention here with Pete. So again, you're right, Tiki. He isn't kind of in the vein of an Archie Bunker type. Where again, Pete he loves Christmas, loves the holidays. He just hates decorating, which is a very human thing. If he hates decorating, and the big reason he hates decorating is because Goofy keeps screwing up his holiday.
Right.
Always breaks things. Either Goofy breaking his own things that just end up in Pete's life, or breaking on some of Pete's stuff while decorating. It's always that going. So again, it's so interesting that again in their show, Pete, it's called Goof Troop. Yet Pete and his family are they're the stars.
They are. They really are.
I mean, Goofy's not bad, but again, it's not Max's show or anything. And Goofy just he's traditional.
And Goofy and Goof Troop is not the strongest that Goofy's ever been. Goofy and Goofy movie is way stronger.
Absolutely. Again, that's like Goofy in this show is just he's the wacky neighbor. That's what he is.
Right.
So he's always in that kind of supporting role. It should be retitled something. Like
honestly, I feel like this is probably the most watered down version of Goofy that we have, because the Goofy in the Goofy movies has a lot of dimension to him, and then the Goofy of old is kind of like an entirely different character if you watch the Nostalgia Critic video of him. So
you should call this show Pete's Fleet.
Right. Yeah, pretty much. Pete's Place. I like Pete's Place.
Pete's Place sounds good.
Okay.
Pete's Playhouse.
No, come
on. Now I'm just picturing Jim Cummings as Pete singing that theme song.
They got me doing it.
Like I want to try it, but I know I'd butcher it, so I'm not even gonna try.
Just don't do it.
I'm not. But just imagine that in your head.
So after mentioning the Twinkle Light Fiasco of '89, Pete answers.
So many deaths. I'm sorry.
So much tinsel. So much tinsel. Anyway, so Pete answers the door, and we have this terrifying dog snowman. That's my thoughts. It looks like a terrifying dog snowman.
Oh God. Do
you guys feel that at all? I mean, you rarely see a snowman kind of style like Goofy, and it looks really bizarre.
Mm-hmm.
It's bright. It's brighter than Goofy will ever be.
And Goofy has always kind of been the one creature in Disney that's like impossible to nail down. Like I've basically resorted to just calling the long-faced dog things goofs. Like, that's about the best I can do. They're called goofs. That's, like, there's really no other word for them, you know what I mean?
I don't think you really put a stamp on that one, Tiki. I think that one's just kind of already colloquially done.
Right. Anyways.
Anyway, Pete greets him with a, "What do you want, mistletoe?" I love the animation on Pete. He has this wreath over his, like, kind of like a bow of a wreath he's wearing or something. Says, "What do you want, mistletoe?" And again, I'm pretty much on Pete's side for the large majority of this. I mean,
that's one of the problems with this special. Yeah.
I mean, until really there's like one bit where he goes too far, but aside from that, he's like pretty much he's very understandable, and the rest is like, okay, I'm just very sympathetic. Like, I'm on Pete's side, except for this one part where he actually a real douche. But everything else,
I hear you.
Let's see. So Goofy again, nice and neighbor says, your house look really undecorated on the outside. So I thought I'd lend you a snowman to decorate outside. And Max just smells the disaster right off the bat.
Oh boy!
This is not going to go well. Like that's the fun thing with Matt.
Max is actually like tolerable this episode. Dragon. Trust me, there are moments in Goof Troop where Max is definitely kind of like the auto rocket type, like just getting into mischief for the sake of getting into mischief. Here, I think he's very tolerable.
I mean, there's one thing in this thing with Max I really did like. They hinted at. I can get a sense this might not be. Tell me if you've watched one of the series, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me this. I love the hint of the dynamic that Max and Pete actually are very like-minded.
Yes, that's a thing. That's definitely a thing.
See, that I like. That shows potential for me.
Yeah, like Pete kind of has a grudging respect for Max in spite of just kind of hating Goofy.
Yeah.
I like to see a show based solely around Pete and Goofy.
I could also see that working.
I would like an Odd Couple. That could be the explanation. I think we've had this conversation before. But that would be the explanation for Peg. Peg threw him out. Be like the Odd Couple, divorced man, the roommate with Goofy. And here's what you do. You set
I
after
can legitimately see one of the dynamics. Dragon, I don't know if you picked up on this, but one of the dynamics with Goof Troop is that Goofy is kind of like the husband that Peg has always wanted.
Oh right, yeah. I've seen the clips I have seen. It does.
Yeah,
that is evident. Yeah.
Like, there's always this thing where it's like Peg, like, obviously kind of appreciates Goofy a lot more than she does Pete, and she kind of just.
That makes a lot of sense.
Anyways.
Anyway, how great would that be, though? Again, after the extremely goofy movie, your spin-off would be, okay, well, she's left Pete, and that explains why she wasn't around, and then, Goofy, either things didn't go his way with the relationship, or he's just kind of taking some time off, or she's just on the side, whatever. They're sharing an apartment together.
Yeah.
Well, now Max is off to college, and he's kind of doing stuff on his own in the world, just these two guys. Sharing an apartment, getting the shenanigans, a lot of fun. Okay. So.
This is your half of the room, Goof. Stay on your side.
Okay, Pete.
Oh, gosh, Pete, but everything that's useful is on your side.
And Pete ends up burning, his half catches on fire, and Goofy's half is fine. The fire extinguisher's on Goofy's side. Hey, Goof, wake up! And Goofy's sleeping, and had his earphones and like a little eye mask, and I was like, Goof!
Okay.
Anyway, moving on. Let's see. So again, it gives them
some more on like other things than the actual thing itself.
Well, yeah, we're getting kind of off topic, so let's get back on track.
Okay, Max smells disaster. He lights it up really bright again, like Jacob said, brighter than Goofy will ever be. We see Waffles, Goofy and Max's cat, in a little reindeer hat, which is going to come back, the little reindeer hat. Dressing up pets around the holidays. There's a trope.
Mm-hmm.
Pete gets electrocuted. The kids love it. I love it. The kids they're loving just seeing Pete get electrocuted. Calls for a family meeting. Family meeting.
Is that a trope? I want to say that's a trope. Is that a trope?
Family meeting or getting electrocuted?
Family meeting.
Family meeting, no. Electrocuted, yes. People do get electrocuted with lights and stuff.
Okay. Well, Clark Griswold showed us that.
Certainly. Okay, so family meeting. Let's see. Pete suggests leaving town for the holidays to avoid the Goofy holiday.
This is like a legit complaint, like a 1,000% I am totally on Pete's side complaint here. That Goofy is literally, he has so many decorations that he's sucking up the electricity for in the entire fucking neighborhood. So their solution? Let's leave town. And I am so on Pete's side.
That's not purely the reason, but it's pretty much like the last straw.
Yeah, it is the last straw. I mean, well, I think it is basically the reason, because, I mean, like, with their power out and everything, how can they even, like, Anyways.
Well, I mean, the light was on the next scene, so I think I think it just came back on at some point.
Yeah, fair enough.
I'm saying the point is it definitely shows, okay, Goof's gonna spell doom on our Christmas.
I mean, look, I'm just saying, it's a douchebag thing for Goofy to do.
Look, it's Goofy's not doing it on purpose.
I know, but he's being inconsiderate.
Well, again, he didn't think of it.
It's not inconsiderate. Say it's blissful ignorance.
All right, fine, I'll take it.
He's not thinking of it. He's not like doing malice or being, I'm gonna steal the energy from everyone.
It's not he's going, I'm gonna steal electricity in the neighborhood.
I could. Oh jeez.
You imagine Goofy as a supervillain?
That's not a supervillain. That's more something I could see Homer Simpson doing. Like, that reminds me of the time that Homer Simpson stole the cable. Anyways.
Well, I mean, it's not the same level of, like, no, never mind. not important. Let's move on. Okay, let's see. Suppose you're right, though. We are definitely sympathetic towards Pete. Okay, look, he's making a very logical, very sane call here of like, let's just avoid Goofy screwing up our holiday list here. Let's go to Aspen, Colorado.
Right.
Let's go to Aspen. It's Aspen, Colorado.
Yeah, it's Aspen.
Just love it.
Aspen. Yes.
Oh, when I was in school, my teachers always used aspirin as the example of like if something becomes like so commonplace in vernacular that it actually loses its copyright. And aspirin's an example. I'm trying to think of others. Band-Aid. Band-Aid's a good example.
Band-Aid's a brand name. You can't really use that copyright. It's technically a copyrighted name.
Are we going somewhere with this?
No, not really. I'm sorry.
Can we move on? So, Pete's off to Aspen.
Education from like 7 years ago, or probably even longer than that. God damn, how old have I been out of high school? You're old.
We're still on the wrong path. So, onto the right path. Pete's off to Aspen, Colorado.
Colorado.
Aspirin, like the painkillers.
Wait, no, it's not actually aspirin, is it?
Yeah, it's literally aspirin. That's what I'm saying.
It's called Aspen.
Serious?
Yeah, I'm dead serious, Dragon.
Well, like Pete says, we're going to Aspen, Colorado.
I know that he calls it Aspen. You mean that's the actual pronunciation?
Oh no, the actual place is Aspen. No,
that's what I'm saying. I know he's saying Aspen.
Well, you're being very clear, Dragon.
Oh,
it's Aspen.
I don't think any of us are being clear right now.
Pete is off to Aspen, Colorado.
Oh god.
Right?
Okay.
No, the real place is called Aspen.
Yes.
Yes, we got that.
I assume he's saying it wrong. It's like RG.
No, I'm not saying it wrong. No.
You're not saying it wrong. He's saying.
Oh god.
That's what it's called in the show.
Communication breakdown.
I'm saying in the show.
Mental breakdown.
I'm saying in the show, it is like in real life, it is called Aspen, Colorado. But Pete, and everyone in the family is saying it wrong.
Why are we talking about this still? Why are we still talking about this? Okay, can I just quickly move the plot along? Just very quickly move the plot along. Fine. So Max is fucking Vera Farmiga levels of sad about PJ being out of town, and he convinces Goofy to go to Aspen, Colorado to join them. Let's move on, okay?
Aspen.
Yes, Aspen.
Aspen.
So Goofy agrees to go to Aspen, Colorado, all right? Are we good? Are we all caught up?
Yeah.
Can we get to Humphrey the Bear now?
Yep.
Okay. All right, good. So again, we're on Pete's side though for the reason for this move, and now Max, so he can be with his buddy for the holiday, but more so he can also kind of get away from the decorations stuff because again, spelling doom for his holiday too. Let's just go have a let's change things up. Let's have a nice holiday at Aspen, Colorado.
And it's like I'm sure that Max didn't really consider that, but I don't know. It's like I'm kind of sympathetic towards Max here, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, suck it up, kid. Your friend's gonna be out of town for a few days. You know what I mean?
It's not purely because of PJ. It's just he wants to kind of also he's following Pete's kind of notion here. But let's avoid kind of the usual holiday trappings that usually lead to disaster. Let's change our venue. He's saying, at least I'll have PJ keep me company.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay.
So
in Aspen, Colorado, Cabin 42, we have Humphrey the motherfucking Bear sneaking around.
Yeah.
Who spots Goofy and Max, and essentially our bear here kind of serves the same role as another very iconic Goofy character.
Yes. This is basically an extended version of Bigfoot, pretty much.
Yes, Humphrey is very in line with Bigfoot.
Even their car looked like it would be in the Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Humphrey's trying to sneak up on them, but
jackpot until he's snow covered.
Yeah. And like I said, we were kind of talking about this off air, but the interesting thing about the characterization of Humphrey here is Jacob, how would you describe Humphrey from the original shorts?
Kind of like a dopey, kind of like a bear from if he was in the Three Stooges.
Right. And in this, he genuinely kind of has an air of menace around him. I mean, there is still kind of slapstick comedy involved with him, but it's like, the way it's like, it's no joke. It's like he wants to fucking eat Max and Goofy, like, no bones about it.
And all the Christmas food.
Right.
There's a lot of revenge in this special. He just wants revenge for this. The guy kept hitting me with his car. I want revenge on this guy.
Oh, God.
It's a mean bear. The only thing to make it more terrifying is if he had a giant bat to hit people with. This is like, bring out the bear.
What?
That's not a bat. This is.
I'm lost.
It's an obscure reference. Let's just move on.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway, well, it's a Tarantino reference. Moving on.
Oh, it's a Tarantino.
Now it's not Tarantino.
Anyway, let's see. So yeah, he gets back into the cabin.
It's Wacko, by the way. It's Wacko, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
So he gets back to he gets whacked right into the top of the cabin, and basically turns into a bearskin rug. It's not the end of it though. So Max enters his cabin. It's like he's died and gone to Montana. He's died and gone to Montana.
Which I don't necessarily get that line.
No, it's like it looks very Montana. It looks very kind of rural and kind of
Well, yeah, but we've already established that it's in Colorado, though.
All right. Poke holes in all the gags.
I am. That's my job. Anyways. We also have kind of like, I want to say it's a Country Bear homage with the buff, the moose buff.
They call it a buff, really?
I think that's what it's called. Yeah.
I never knew they called it a buff. I just always thought it was just kind of...
You know what I'm talking about.
I know what it is. I mean,
yeah.
It's like the mounted head.
Yeah.
So I didn't know they called it a buff, though.
I'm pretty sure they call it a buff. I could be wrong.
Kind of a weird name, but okay.
Anyways, so
so we see a bearskin rug on the ground that is still alive.
And Goofy's like admiring it, like, oh gosh, it's so realistic, and he just sticks right up in Humphrey's mouth.
And like big looking teeth though.
Yeah.
Which leads to a chase inside the cabin. This is an awfully violent bit that happened. I'm sorry, Jake. Thanks for the...
No, I wasn't. You guys go ahead.
Then we have this awfully violent bit and telling Goofy of all characters to reach for a gun.
Okay, you see, Spielberg? That's how you do characters handling a gun. You see? You can do it, buddy. You can do it. I'm sorry. Even more obscure Jurassic Park reference.
No, E.T. reference.
Yeah, it's E.T.
Well, I'm referencing Jurassic Park with the whole bit where it's like, why
right.
doesn't Tim handle the gun? But moving on.
Well, boy, Goofy's reaching for... It doesn't matter. Anyway, so...
No, you're right. I was very sure. Like, that would never fly these days, considering, like, all the anti-gun stuff that's going on. That would, like, Goofy with a gun would be, like, so, like... That would never get past.
I mean, no, Tiki, there still probably was some standards and practices in the fact they allude to the gun. Now we can't even get away alluding to the gun, but...
Yeah.
I'm saying back then, though, the idea is...
literally says, like, grab the gun, Dad.
Because believe me, I can attest to like all the censorship. As much leeway as Batman the Animated Series got, there was still some gun restrictions. So you could show and have guns in your world as long as like certain things weren't done with them. In this case, you saw the gun and Goofy was reaching for it, but he grabbed a broom instead. And I love this gag. This gag I thought was so clever. It's like, it sounds like he's threatening to shoot, and then basically the bear starts. Takes a giant bite of the broom, and then like you're a bang. First, I'm thinking, oh my god, is this like a laws of physics defying broom? And,
Great.
Well, it's good. Well, look who's holding it.
Yes, I know. I mean, it plays so violently, doesn't it?
And Goofy's holding it.
Violence, but Yeah,
Goofy could probably turn anything into a weapon.
Yeah, but I just love like the dust remnants coming out of the bear's mouth.
You can either turn anything into a weapon or into an item in a bounce house.
That too.
Okay, anyway, so after the dust literally settles, Goofy brought a surprise, we find out, as he's kind of unloading the car, and we see he brought all the decorations.
Oh, boy. Which, again, I'm kind of like... I'm anti-Goofy this episode, man. I really am, because Max specifically wanted to get away from all the decorating stuff.
Oh, yeah, and Goofy didn't know that, though. And honestly, I'm a little anti-Max on this one, too.
Are you?
Because I figure Max's main problem is like putting up the decorations. Well, you don't have to worry about it. He did all that for you. So what's the problem?
Yeah.
The damage is already done.
I honestly think the problem is that Max feels like the decorations are a distraction, and he just wants to spend a Christmas with Goofy without, like the decorations is all kind of like the superfluous stuff that comes along with it.
But here's my biggest gripe with it, Tiki. Well, it's done now. So what's the worry? It's now he's with him the whole special. He did it like off screen. It's a surprise. So surprise, you don't have to worry about anything.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's my biggest gripe with the special. That the whole Christmas thing, just let Goofy do it, and then he's done in like 10 minutes apparently, because he can do it that fast in this special.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So Pete, I love Pete's bigger, luxurious cabin. He had over the hill, over the mountain.
Yes.
He's watching TV in bed. He's got cold chicken. He's got ice fishing monthly. He's having a great time.
All I wanted was a nice cabin up on the hill so I could get a thumbs up from Poppy.
And we see an older, smaller version of Pete just going like a real rickety hand, just going. It has a hole in the because he's Pete's father.
That would explain a lot about Pete's character if he just never got a thumbs up from his dad. I think that.
I never got a thumbs up from Poppy.
You subplot in the odd couple.
Right. Okay, let's see. So Goofy's Goofy's singing while he's what's he doing? All right, Goofy's singing while he's decorating in the middle of the night. Stirs Pete awake. He's ready. Oh, I'm ready to teach someone the meaning of silent night. He's ready to.
And you guys don't think this is rude? That Peter, Goofy is just straight up singing in the middle of the night?
Oh, he didn't know there were other cabins though.
Okay. I give up. I think Goofy is an intolerable asshole this episode. I'm saying do.
Pete's way above the mountains. How is he going to know there's a cabin way up there?
Well, okay, we saw number 42 on the cabin, right? That would imply that there's other cabins in the area.
I'll meet you halfway, all right? I'll meet you halfway.
Have you ever been camping? Sometimes these cabins are miles apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're buying a piece of land, ideally, along with, you're renting a piece of land, ideally, with the cabin.
I mean, the only cabin camping I've been in is like KOA camps, so that doesn't really count. But
look, I'll meet you halfway. That if you would assume there are other cabins, so he probably should have known the echo would carry. But I mean, I'll meet you halfway. All right.
Fair enough.
The point is, if Goofy knew, then it's definitely malicious on his part. Yeah. The point is, I do love Pete's reaction. Pete's just yelling,
"This ain't no Aspen special."
I think it's my favorite line in the whole special. It says, "Shut up! This ain't no husband special." Then he falls and he tumbles into just a giant Pete snowball, and he's greeted by Goofy, his best pal in the world, who makes him want to tear his fur out. Let's see. Max I love Max's realization that the decorations are out, and again, my big gripe with this whole special is okay, well now it's all done. There's nothing to worry about. So Max, he finds a hiling Santa.
Oh God.
Goofy's a Nazi theory.
Oh no.
Well, Donald.
Oh, God.
I'm just kidding.
I'm getting really sick of these Disney theories because I'm following some channels that are kind of.
You're getting sick of the theories now?
I am getting kind of sick of them now. Yeah.
Mr. Pixar theory over and over again?
I still stick to the Pixar theory to a certain extent. That's a whole different story, but. People are kind of trying to say that Dory is a Disney princess, and I'm like,
oh, come on.
No.
Are people really saying that?
Yes, people are really saying that.
People are stupid.
Disney princess. Dory is a fish.
I'm like, no. You know what their rationale was? Their rationale was well, Ariel is half fish.
How is that a rationale?
I'm like, no.
She's a princess. She's a legitimate princess of a kingdom.
Well, the loophole with the Listen, the loophole with the royalty thing is that with Mulan got inducted into the princess thing for the act of heroism. The act of heroism is kind of a loophole, but I just think the whole being human thing is kind of a thing that needs to be addressed. Anyways. Super Carlin Brothers, I love you guys, but I don't know.
There aren't any royal fish. That's why it doesn't work. There's no royal family. You don't have to be human to be a princess, but you do have to come from royalty.
They want her to be a princess because she's brave and a good role model, which, honestly, I have nothing against, really, but it just kind of, no.
They just have her be brave and a good role model. Just don't call her princess. Call her Disney character.
Right. Anyways.
Anyway, so after we see the Hiling Santa decoration, Max is horrified to find the other decoration. Again, it's a Hiling Santa Claus. It looks very much like that.
Oh boy.
I'm not saying it's like direct. I'm saying I think the subtle gag is like, oh hey, it's kind of the Santa Claus in an intimidating pose that exemplifies. Oh my God, Max is terrified of seeing these decorations for some reason.
And of course, for Disney, I always think of Defer's face. The Donald Duck cartoon.
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah, they all like it.
Hail Hitler! Hail Hitler!
Yeah. No, so again, like I think Max's reaction is kind of like awesome there, where he's just he's a little like, okay, well now it's like no use in fighting. Again, I'm saying, well now the issue's done. What are you worried about?
Yeah, I hear you.
It just seems kind of pointless when you look at it that way. There's an easy solution to that the whole time. Anyway, so Pete tries to warm up after being caught in a giant snowball. Goofy wishes Pete a happy day before Christmas, much to Pete's displeasure. We see Max and PJ reunite. We got Goofy has a sledding idea, which the family loves it. Yeah, sledding, all right. Which is cool. I love the sledding sequence in this.
Mm-hmm.
Is this before or after pressing the button on the tree?
It's before.
Yeah, it's before. By the Christmas tropes, going out of town for Christmas.
Definitely.
Christmas.
Glad you mentioned that.
And sledding from Christmas Vacation. Get sledding here. A lot of Christmas Vacation in this one. Okay, so let's see. So Pete's staying put to avoid injury. Again, smart play on Pete's part.
Again, I like Pete is the most sympathetic character in this whole thing, even though he's a Scrooge.
Yep, so bizarre. So because it lends itself to this one again. I don't want to make a habit of this. But who would our fusion be?
Oh God, Goofy and Pete, I think, or Max and Pete. I think maybe Max and Pete. I want to go with that.
I'm not sure if Max learns anything. Oh well, I mean, I'll tell you my biggest problem with this whole thing. Just right now, we'll hint at it. There's no real lesson learned in this.
No, you're right. You're right. It's just kind of shit happens and Merry Christmas.
Again, the lesson just kind of gets glazed over, and we'll get to it. Let's put.
I think this is definitely the weakest selection that we've had so far this season, and
it's all on you yet again.
I'll sue me.
Well, I think the reason
I know a good lawyer named Jimmy McGill. I'll get on that.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to Jimmy.
Well, I think the reason they did it is because they didn't want to say it out loud when it's been said so many times before.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So again, the sledding idea is Pete's staying put to avoid injury, and he is hit by the sleigh when Goofy turns around. This is a real creepy bit, actually. So Goofy may be a Scrooge. Goofy's too ignorant to be a Scrooge. That's the thing. He doesn't know he's doing terrible things.
Yeah, but I feel like Goofy kind of exhibits some qualities of the mere Scrooge archetype that we've established.
Oh God.
Where it's like he wants to cause Christmas cheer and he's kind of oblivious to him being an asshole. He's not deliberately trying to be an asshole, but he's just being unintentionally inconsiderate.
That makes okay, I'll give you that's our fusion this episode.
All right, Goofy and Pete, fusion Scrooge! I can't believe we did that twice in a row. That's insane.
I'm saying purely, again, I don't want to make a habit of it. I'm saying purely because it fit for this one. Okay. It fits.
You're right.
Anyway, so again, it's like Pete hits Pete when he turns around with the sleigh, and then it's the real creepy gag. It's the creepiest gag in the whole thing, aside from Highlands. He says, "Oh, Pete's napping," and he's napping with his eyes open, motionless.
Yes.
Not crazy. That's creepy, right? That's kind of scary.
No, yeah, it's a little unsettling. I mean, I wouldn't. The thing is, I wouldn't just leave Pete in that condition. I mean, the
fact that he's not moving and his eyes are open, not blinking.
And they're like, "No, see you later, Pete." Again, most sympathetic character in the special.
Hey, Mommy, what did you get for Christmas? Oh, I got an insurance policy.
I mean, Pete's family basically abandons him when he could have a concussion or a serious brain injury or something like that going on.
I think he has a case of us looking too much into it.
Yeah, you're right. But anyways.
And that explains it. See, the Pete fell actually into a coma, and that's why in a Goofy movie and onwards, that's why he's alone, because the family's lawyer was dead and they moved on.
Oh no.
Except PJ. PJ stuck by his father. And because of that, their bond is really a lot closer than we ever thought it was.
Over again. Oh,
Yuri.
oh dear.
Okay, moving on. So we have some really awesome sledding. I love all this sledding stuff, the animation. This is the funnest part of the special for me.
I would say so. Yeah. And again, it's definitely like the part of the episode that. I'm sorry.
And then the fact that Humphrey joins them too.
Yeah,
that gets better. It gets better with that part, but
it's
except for PJ, everyone's sledding awesomely.
Where we exhibit kind of like the pagan Goofy dynamic, like I was talking about earlier. Where, like, in a perfect world, like, Peg would totally marry Goofy instead of Pete. Anyways.
Yeah. So let's see. So they all land on Goofy's sled eventually, including Humphrey the Bear, who also tags along, and he wants revenge, which leads to kind of a more menacing sledding.
Yeah, but I like how he also, like, participates in the sledding at the same time.
Oh, yeah, and then eventually he ends up on skis, and then the family and Goofy and Toe, they're on the slopes next, and then he's finishing his little, he's finishing his little puzzle, little jigsaw puzzle.
Again, most sympathetic character in the episode. I keep saying it. He's just working on a jigsaw puzzle, which honestly, if you're like alone in Aspen, Colorado, and you have nothing to do and you're just stressed out, that sounds like a pretty damn relaxing way to spend an afternoon. It's
so wonderfully mundane. Just Pete's putting together a jigsaw puzzle, and he says, "Oh, I can't wait to show Peg this when she gets on his episode."
And it's ruined. Again, like.
And here's the line that's this probably is actually the best line of any line before. This one is out of kindness, the way it's delivered and everything's perfect. It says, "You wrecked my..." Again, guy crashes through the roof and brings a lot of actual damage, and Pete's response is, "You wrecked my jigsaw!"
Yeah, right.
just hilarious.
My kingdom for a horse.
Like what?
My kingdom for a horse.
Yeah.
You've never heard that line before?
No, I haven't.
It's Shakespeare.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
It's like something. It's like making a mountain out of a molehill. That's probably better.
Oh, okay. Anyways,
so Peg's reminding him to be festive, and basically reminding him to be festive, and Goofy reminding him, be nice and your best behavior for Santa Claus, and basically the Santa defense.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what else we got here. Take us through.
The rest of the characters are kind of Pete and the rest of the characters are being led around with their eyes shut now, I think.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's it. That's the decoration.
The Goofy Christmas tree surprise. 693 strings of lights applied to a wild Christmas tree, and it looks great.
And this is a kind of a nice gesture on Goofy's part. It goes horribly wrong, but it's a nice gesture. How Goofy offers Pete to push the button to light up the tree.
You can't say there's any malicious intent there.
No, yeah, exactly. Unless Goofy sabotaged it!
Damn it.
We have like a very kind of the Guy Ritchie little flashback just explaining kind of Sherlock Holmes stuff. Just when Peg blames it on Pete.
That's what I'm saying. This is all a scheme to get Peg to leave Pete for Goofy.
Oh God, Goofy is an evil genius.
He knows that Peg's fed up. He knows that Peg's fed up with Pete. He just needs to push her a little further over the edge, and she'll be his. Oh,
Goofy
God.
is secretly Pete's Moriarty.
Speaking of going over the edge, I feel like we're going over the edge right now. Let's get back on track.
Alright, okay, so let's see. It ends up the tree electrifies and then it catches on fire, and Pete is somehow blamed for it. I'm sorry, before that. The fire then spreads to Goofy's car and then cabins, everything burns alive. And an endearing moment for Goofy, he saves Max's present, which is kind of a lame present in the grand scheme, honestly.
That's definitely the best Goofy moment of the episode, I think, is saving Max's present.
Yeah, still, I wish the present was something better, though.
I thought it was, like, it's a sweet gesture.
I mean, come on. You don't need that big a box for that.
Yeah, you don't. You're right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that it's very misleading. I'm saying it's gonna, I was expecting, like, something really sweet, like, I don't know, like they always ask for, like, something sporty, like snowboards on the other Christmas specials. I don't know.
Fucking snowboard. Anyways. Pete's kind of fed up, and he's just like, have a nice hitchhikity ride home.
And here's the thing: this is where Pete goes too far, and he does. It's the only bit where we're actually against Pete here. You know, he's the only bit where he's an actual Scrooge here. And again, he doesn't learn a lesson really.
No, not really.
Okay, let's see. So, I love this though. Again, the whole idea behind it is Goofy wanted to cheer Pete up. I let him push the button. He says, "Oh, that sure cheered me up."
Right.
It's like you're somewhat happy for Pete. Oh, look how happy Pete is, and all the stuff that's been happening in this episode. But then again, oh man, he's really benefiting off the failure of one of the most beloved characters in America.
Oh God.
So that's it's kind of a mixed bag there. So it looks like, okay, well, Christmas is gone. Sad, Goofy, and Max kind of Farmiga-esque bit. Pete gloats. Peg invites him to join the family at the cabin, which was really nice. And again, her being really nice to Goofy. Tiki. Not on to the whole theory.
I mean, look, I think that's something that any rational person would do, regardless of oh, I want to get with this guy. You know.
But again, see, I don't really.
I mean, it's what else are they gonna do? It's like Goofy and Max have nowhere to do. It's like they're literally Pete has the hitchhiking suggestion.
I mean, look, let's be honest. I mean, again, we are kind of having a lot of fun and joking about all these theories and whatnot. But I mean, honestly, though, you're right. They do have chemistry, though. She's always nice to Goofy and do have chemistry. That is actually in the show.
Absolutely.
Just whether there are intentions or plots afoot, that's what.
Right. I don't think on Goofy's end. I think he's totally oblivious to the fact that Pig's even attracted to him. However, I don't want to say that there's not some scheming going on Peg's end. Well,
regardless, we know Peg is very nice to Goofy. That's what we know.
Yeah.
She invites him to join the family at the cabin, and then instantly Pete is like, "Oh no, the guy's a walking minefield," which is another great. Pete has all the great lines this episode.
Pete usually has all the great lines. He's Pete. He's the best character on the show.
Yeah. And again, she says, you push the button. Again, what kind of rationale is that? So just push the button. So he's responsible.
Yeah, I love Peg, but that's maybe that's just Peg. I'm sorry, fucking theory time. Maybe that's just Peg being like, oh, I want to leave Pete, so this is I'm just gonna pass off Pete, you fucked up.
I think she's just doing that to intentionally piss him off.
No, what if she
sabotaged? That's what I'm saying, right? Just
what if she sabotaged the tree?
Oh God. Oh, no. Like Goofy.
Chickens.
When we see off camera, Goofy kind of just mentions to her "Gosh, Peg, I've got this tree that I'm gonna surprise Pete with," and she's like, "Aha."
And then you have your Rob Paulson Emmy episode in which that is your Mother's Day installment of Goof Troop, where PJ, after all these years, says, "I knew what you were doing, Mother. You, how dare you? I know you. I know what you were doing."
It's the most serious Rob Paulson's ever been.
Yeah, seriously, it's just you were trying to have an affair, and you were pushing Dad out. You did all this stuff. Why?
Oh no! Someone make a fan comic of this or something. Anyways.
Okay. Anyway. Go on.
I'm so off track. I'm sorry. So let's see. So
Goofy offers to cook, which to Peg's delight, again, a lot of chemistry suggested here. Peg's like, "Oh, someone's offering to cook," which is very sweet. Again, taking out all this paranoid stuff we're mentioning. Yeah, it was a really sweet notion. Oh, someone's cooking for Peg. She has all the cooking, and he says he stays, he cooks. Case closed. Which it's rationale. Okay, well, of course he's going to work for living there. Okay, that's why.
Well, my whole thing is where else is he going to go? Like I said, but anyways.
Yeah, if they're really cruel people, okay, well, they're dead because they burned down their encampment, okay.
I mean, they're basically, stranded in a blizzard unless they happen upon a trucker or something who's nice enough to let them hitchhike with them.
Yep, or they get eaten alive by the bear, whichever.
Right. Probably eaten alive by Humphrey.
And Humphrey is an oversized toothpick.
Yes.
Then he hiccups in it. It's like the
toothpick. Wait. The toothpick's made from the burned down tree.
Oh God.
And then basically
what if he belches up one of Goofy's big shoes?
No, I'm saying when he belches, it's like Goofy's yuck.
Oh God.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah, we have a tendency to get a little dark here on Christmas in July, Jacob.
Oddly enough, yes, Christmas in July is kind of where some of our dark humor comes from.
There's usually a lot of people being eaten on our
For some reason, yes.
A lot of cannibalism.
I like dark humor.
I like how you say that so casually, Dragon. Just a lot of cannibalism here. A lot of cannibalism. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
a lot of eating another being. Yeah. Well alive.
I like me some dark humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Goofy was screaming on the way down. Okay, so moving on.
So many deaths. The light fiasco of '89. So many people. So many innocent lives lost.
No, but the roasted goof epidemic of '93, though, that was a tragedy. Anyway,
right.
So eating beloved cartoon characters aside here, so Max tries to manage Goofy as he cooks. Again, that's a nice thing on Max's part of like him just trying. Again, Max from my understanding, he's like you said, Tiki, he's better than he usually is in this special. I mean, it's
He
not
is.
I
think he's kind of like a wannabe Bart Simpson in general. That's how he's characterized. But
yeah, so anyway, I love that he's just trying to keep Goofy and checking. These people have been really nice to us. They allowed us into their home. Let's keep the damage to a minimum. What do you say? You know, just like be careful when you cook. All that stuff. Let's say Pete actually. Again, they had that great moment where Pete actually kind of delights for a moment in how he relates to Max, where Max goes out there and says, "Oh man, the little goof is fed up with the big goof, just like me." And again, that's what I'm really interested in from this show. Like, okay, a little bit of similarity between the two there.
there's a
really
Walking Dead dynamic between the main Walking Dead villain and the hero's son, but I'm just Carl and Negan there. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving on. So the Bears.
I'm sorry. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Bears looming over Goofy Ray the chow down. Max thanks Peg and apologizes for his dad, which is really sweet. I love Pete's reaction. Again, it's like the slight little thing I love to see explore more. It's like kind of Pete stirs from like Pete is actually kind of touched. Like, oh my god, someone's actually apologizing for Goofy.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray! It's like a really sweet moment for Pete and Max. They're really nice. So again, just Max acting very adult as a kid. Says the idea, the child is the parent. The thing we talked about with the Goofy franchise, right?
Yeah,
but,
yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Then Goofy assumes the bear is Pete. I know that Pete is kind of dressed similar to the bear.
Right.
Basically, Goofy assumes the bear from behind him is Pete. Tells him not to eat not to eat before dinner or something like that. And
my cold is getting worse.
Yep, he whacks the bear pretty much, salting himself for it to be eaten. Then Pete kind of walks into the kitchen. They both basically kind of freak out, and like they're running around. Like, I love from just Peg outside. Like, oh, Pete's helping Goofy. Oh, no idea what's going on. Two men just run around trying not to be eaten by a bear. And then turns to lock the bear in the kitchen. Says, "Oh, the bear's gonna eat the food. All the food." Poor Pete. This is not his Christmas.
Again, like, he's so sympathetic.
There are no sympathetic characters, remember? You keep saying there's no sympathetic characters.
No, I think Pete is very sympathetic. I think Goofy is less sympathetic.
With the exception of that one bit, Pete is very sympathetic.
Yeah. Anyway, so Goofy, the one thing he did manage to save was a pot full of cranberries, which... Do you eat cranberries on your own? I mean, it's like cranberry sauce goes good with turkey. That's about the only time.
Can you make cranberry soup? Is that feasible?
I don't know.
Possible?
Well, when they're edible, you can eat them.
Yeah, they are.
Can't you technically make soup out of anything?
Technically, yes.
Well, I mean, they probably wouldn't be as good. But it's better than starving to death.
And worst thing, you have flavored water. It's kind of the worst thing you could ever do with soup, I guess. But you can even make rock soup. It tastes terrible. You can make rock soup.
Well, I don't know about that.
I don't
think rock soup has any nutritional value behind it.
I'm not saying put it on the shelves in stores.
Rock soup coming soon to a store near you. Brought to you by the makers of Tubafoam.
And hamburger
on a stick.
Remember, folks, it's Tubafoam. I'm sorry, go on, Jay.
Rock soup has plenty of salt.
Yep.
Yeah. Dragon, by the way, just putting it out there for people, at Disneyland, I am totally planning on filming a hamburger on a stick sketch.
God.
I am totally planning on doing that.
And see, the commercial, the fancy kind of 50s style commercial for the rock soup is, you know, when you feel like you live a sedentary lifestyle, you know what you want to do? You want to chow down on some nice, fresh rock soup. How do you make it? It's simple. It's in a can. Just add water. Stir it around a little bit. You get those little gray and black kind of salty bits are in there. You know what you need on your rock soup? You need some extra salt. You put some extra salt in there. You know, it may not be recommended, but you know what? It may look like there's pepper in the water, but you know what? That's actually rocky goodness.
Wow.
Need a little bit of a chisel to kind of break it up and to kind of basically have a chisel attachment with your spoon, you know, tied on there with a rubber band, but it's worth it, folks. It is. It's, again, last time before we move on, rock soup. Coming
and
to the
bones
store.
and hamburgers on a stick.
It's
Right,
chewy. It's chewy.
Highly recommended by dentists.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well, they need the business. It's around the holidays. You know, Christmas isn't a free meal, unlike rock soup. Anyway, moving on. So let's see. So again, we have.
We just did 5 minutes.
So, rock soup aside, we have the potential soup made from cranberries basically being put on. I didn't know cranberries are flammable. I did not know that.
I don't really.
I think it was just the pressure inside the.
Yeah.
I know. I'm just joking. I'm just saying it's a big explosion. So let's see. While the cranberries are cooking, big old pot of cranberries. Let's see. What do we got?
What happened to the bear? It was still in the cabin when it exploded.
Well, remember, he's chowing down all the food in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Or he's left.
Like I said, it was probably still in there when it exploded, wasn't it?
That's true.
Well, he could have escaped because we don't see him at any time. So I guess we assumed he met his maker.
Yeah, but
No, not Humphrey.
Well, again, it's fine though. It's a fake death.
Yeah, he comes back, so.
Humphrey will live.
In between that and the explosion, we see the reindeer dance.
Yes, and by the way, before we get to the reindeer dance, there's a hilarious thing that I will give the special credit here. And here's a cliche. Here's a trope. Kind of pointing out Christmas cliches.
Embarrassing Christmas traditions.
Well, that too. So there's that, and there's also pointing out Christmas cliches. So the Goofy's throwing out some Christmas Eve suggestions, like some cliches, like, you know, why don't we sing some Christmas carols? And I love it. They're all going, nah. Says, why don't I read 'Twas the Night Before Christmas? Nah. And then he says, oh, I know. And then Mac's like, no, Dad, please. No, he says, the reindeer dance. And then it's a real jazzy number, though.
It is.
Basically, it's like a Christmas conga.
Like a salsa dance.
Better than the Lammy dance.
Yeah. Oh dear.
I was thinking more conga line, but okay.
Oh, the
Lammy. It's better than the
dance.
Lammy dance.
Oh God. That's a ground.
Then again, gets everyone.
Dragon.
That eventually gets everyone into the spirit. Even Pete's getting a chuckle out of seeing these two guys act ridiculous for his entertainment. And everything's fine until the pot blows up. Rock soup! It's in my rock soup! And Pete's had it.
I got cranberries in my rock soup.
And now, I got rock soup in my cranberries.
A pot of rock soup blowing up is a lot more dangerous than the pot of cranberry soup blowing up.
Oh, you could lose family members like that.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure you could do it.
Poor grandmother.
Do you think rock soup had to do with the Twinkle Light Fiasco of '89?
Before Grandma got hit by a reindeer.
Oh God.
Well, remember, actually,
Grandma got ran over by a reindeer while eating rock soup.
No, remember what happened. Don't you forget, Tiki, you're forgetting the very famous lost episode of Goof Troop where we saw what happened to Pete's mother. Goofy accidentally killed her.
Oh God! Oh, hey, that just went dark really fast. All right.
Remember the beginning of the. Do you remember the beginning of the special?
Rock soup to Goofy killing.
There is nothing dark about rock soup. Rock soup is part of a nutritious lunch. Anyway,
oh man.
So, don't you remember at the beginning of this special?
This is not our most professional podcast, but this is a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun with this one.
Seriously. Don't you remember the beginning of the special where we had the thing with Goofy and the Giant Santa Hat where he kind of flew E.T. stuff across the moon? Well, you know, it's probably not the first time that's happened. So, I mean, when that happens, maybe it didn't land through the chimney. Maybe Grandma was just walking outside, walking home one day, or walking to the post
Oh, God.
On the way with her letters and trying to get her free stamps, she was like, wham!
I think the real question, though, is what happened to Goofy's wife. That's what I really want to know.
Well, that was Pete's retaliation.
Oh, God. Oh, boy. Oh, God.
He poisoned her raw soup.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh,
We have a little bit of this episode left. Can we just finish this up?
All right, lead the way. Pete's lost his cool. He's lost his temper, remembering that, oh, wait, you killed my mother, you son of a... So Pete's had it with the blown-up cranberries, and literally the cabin's in shambles. There are no walls anymore, so Pete's had it. How's it go?
You basically said that Goofy ruined Christmas for you and your own dumb kid. Which, again, I think is kind of like an asshole moment from Pete.
It is, but I think he's not saying dumb with malice, but what he is saying to Goofy, though, is supposed to be the realization, but I think they just kind of forget about that until the very end. Like, that's supposed to be Goofy's wake-up call, but he feels really down about it, so I can't really say it's not a wake-up call. It really bums Goofy out. And
It does.
I mean, Pete did kind of deserve to kind of like shake Goofy around and say, "Hey, listen, you wake up! You're ruining everything." That's kind of his moment of doing that. But
yeah, you're right. You're right. Fair enough.
But again, you're right. Though it is really harsh, and just saying that directly to Goofy, you're ruining Christmas even for your own dumb kid. That, and given what Goofy's rationale, what their semblance of a message is in this episode, that is kind of it's leading us down the right path, is what I'm saying. So let's see the family. But here's what's cruel about it. Again, this episode, I guess, is why it might be going to a dark place. There's a really cruel bit following that, though. Because after, again, this really harsh lesson, this is why I'm kind of mixed on this episode overall, I guess. I mean, I like it for the most part. I'm just saying there's some stuff that doesn't make sense in it that really kind of taken me out of it. Now we're talking about it.
Yeah.
But here's the big thing. So after, we have kind of our big emotional moment where, as Pete just really, lets Goofy have it, and he's walking out kind of Farmiga Sad Hulk style. The family just kind of lets it slide. They're just kind of opening gifts all happily, and they're not...
Yeah, thank you. That really bugged me.
Yeah.
Maybe if there wasn't, like, a giant blizzard going on outside, it'd be fine. But there is a giant blizzard going on outside, and it's not fine. Goofy is probably going to fucking die.
Yeah, it didn't really make much sense.
Well, no. To be fair, here, the way it actually plays out, it doesn't blizzard immediately. He walks out into the snow, then it blizzards, and then Max goes out, then they realize, oh, Billy, we gotta help him. But still, regardless, I think it's the fact that Pete yelled at him so bad, and they're all just even pegs. They don't really give a crap about it at first. It's like, okay, well, Goofy got yelled, now he's out, and then we don't care. We're opening our gifts all happily, except for the kid. Pistol says, oh, I know, I'm sorry about what happened with your dad, Max, but hey, you got one gift, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty cruel overall. Like, just kind of forgot about Goofy, even though they kept sticking up for Goofy. And it's a photo of the gift is open. It's a photo of the reindeer dance, which again, it's
a sentimental gift. Which by the way, I think we can kind of chalk that up to a trope too. The sentimental gift.
Yeah, the sentimental gift. But I don't know. It just feels like, again, it's not just the box uses on the surface is why it's kind of getting under my skin. Like, it's too big a box for a little photograph.
I honestly think it's a little bit of a nitpick, Dragon. I didn't really have the same issue with it that you.
No, here's my main gripe with it. I'm just saying it's my surface gripe. Here's my main gripe. My main gripe is, as a gift in itself, I mean, photo gifts really work for people they haven't seen in a long time or years have passed. But if it's like, you're giving this to your kid now recently on Christmas, I mean, this like photo from like last year or the year before, I mean, that's 2 years. I mean, they don't really need a reminder of that immediately.
Okay, I see your point. Yeah.
I'm saying I just had grace with the whole thing in itself. I mean, the boxing really does get under my skin. I was like, yeah, that's too much space for kind of a fruitless gift. So I don't quite get why Max is so compelled. It's a reminder of, hey, we just did the reindeer dance and everything was good for a moment, and then disaster. I mean, it's just convenient. It's a gift of convenience, not a gift of like, hey, genuine emotion.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't mean to be harsh. I'm just now realizing.
No. It's okay because I honestly I wasn't crazy about this episode either. I think Humphrey is probably the big highlight of this episode, but other than that,
for me it's Pete. I mean, I'm loving Pete in this episode. I do feel bad for him.
Pete's always. I mean, Pete to me is just kind of a given. Whenever Pete's in anything, he's going to be entertaining. Humphrey is kind of like the big surprise of the episode, and why I'm glad we are kind of talking about it is because it is kind of cool to see Humphrey in there and kind of taking on a non-traditional role for Humphrey and kind of being the predecessor for Bigfoot.
Okay, so Max goes to find Goofy in the cold storm. PJ follows him in concern. Again, good for PJ, and PJ's sticking up for his buddy there.
Don't you think it's a little fucked up that wait, do Pete and Pay go along with them too?
Yep.
Well, they do. I'm just saying that PJ is the first to volunteer.
It'd be a little fucked up if like the two kids go out and then Pete and Peg are like, well, that's more presents and eggnog for us.
No.
Pete actually decides to lead the charge.
Oh, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
Well, if I'm going on this rescue mission, I'm leading the charge.
And then he falls through the cliff that Goofy fell through.
Yep. But it provides a soft landing for everyone else. So, hey, good for Pete. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Bodily injury. So, so let's see, Goofy, and this is really, to me, is kind of a disturbing shot here. I mean, not disturbing, I'm saying it's a poignant shot of, like, again, out of context, I think it works a lot better. Just like, Goofy's so sad walking around, and we love Goofy, usually. Just Goofy just ending up kind of his legs sticking out of the snow. It's like, oh, that should be kind of like we should push the Farmiga. Instinctively, I want to push the Farmiga button, like, so sad. Goofy freezing to death in the snow out of sadness. I mean, that's by definition a Farmiga moment, but just because all the stuff on, it's I don't know. I'm not feeling the magic on that one,
I'm not either.
Again, the shot, though, I can appreciate the shot. Like, ordinarily, this would get a lot of motion. This should work, but in context, it's not really working.
Mm-hmm.
So, let's see. So, again, they're all now in a cave instead of heading back. But, it's cold and they fell down a ways, that's why. Anyway, so it's, again, here's the semblance of the message here we get. And again, this kind of comes, like, towards the last couple of minutes and just kind of... Basically, Goofy has a poignant moment where he's saying, Max, it's getting harder to make Christmas special for you as the years go on. He says, look, Dad, it's a good moment, but it's not supported by anything. Where Max then says, oh, you don't look, Dad, I'm growing up, but I still love Christmas and I still love you, and it's really nice. But again, kind of last minute, kind of not supported by anything.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not crazy with that, right? I mean, it's like, it's not really, this isn't...
No, you're not. I feel like this episode very much is just kind of like a bunch of shenanigans with kind of like a little like hint of a message at the end.
Because again, it's like this whole, like, the whole reasons for the trip mixed with this, they're just they're oil and water. They don't mix well. Like, okay, Max doesn't want to...
Right, yeah.
Max doesn't want to decorate the house.
It's very disjointed.
Yet Goofy can decorate it easily by himself, and hence the reason for going all the way out to Colorado. So again, why everything should be fine now, and now... Well, like the message should be, I guess. I don't want to rewrite it, but let's just say what it probably should be. It should probably be like, Goofy. What we have in this episode is, Goofy keeps screwing up the holidays, and it's not really directly referenced by anyone, but even by Max. That okay, look, you gotta just stop messing up the holidays. They're now tacking on of like completely unrelated resolve for that problem. It's like, hey, Goofy's not screwing up the holidays anymore. He's learned from it for what he does. Not really. We don't have any evidence of that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So, Christmas. I'm just trying to think. We have a line that feeds into Humphrey's reemergence. Do you remember what it was?
Not particularly.
Well, it's like something along the lines of, "Hey, it's a great Christmas." Yeah.
Hold on. I think I actually have it. I might not though.
Something about a Christmas tree.
It's like Christmas in a bear.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you, Jacob. That's the line. All right, yeah. And they all panic or run around the cave, and I love this thing.
I'm too handsome to die.
I love that Pete offers Goofy to the bear, but then this
I'm too handsome to die. I'm too handsome to die. Eat him.
That's funny, but here's again suggests that Peg definitely has a soft spot for Goofy. She stands up to the bear. She stands up there and she's winning. And I know easily she would take on this. She would take this bear easily until PJ points out that you go back where you came from. Then PJ points out, Mom, it's his.
This is his cave.
Oh.
This is his cave.
Then they realize, yeah, we're boned. So let's see. So then Max implores incites the reindeer dance, which Goofy follows, and then the rest of the family does. It's a conga line, it's a salsa number. Gets the bear, even Humphrey the Bear is in the holiday spirit. Hooray!
Yay!
And we get our little kind of end capper here, where it's Silent Night's playing.
With reused animation, no less.
Yes.
Yeah.
We see Silent Night going on, and we see the little tree. It's even smaller than the fake tree. Merry Christmas in front of the fireplace shot. We got A great line to go out on, though. Again, Pete's giving us some really solid lines here. Again, the makings of a good Christmas special are here, but there's this, like, it's not. Well, I'm sorry, I'm jumping in the final thoughts. Anyway, next year let's go to the Bahamas at you. So, yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of a clusterfuck, but final thoughts?
I think there's a good Christmas special here. There are good elements here, but I think the problem is they don't tie together enough for me. And there's it's a weak special.
I mean, I think most of the Christmas stuff is pretty standard stuff that we've already seen. There's not really a lot that makes this special, like, jump out at me in any way besides Humphrey the Bear. Humphrey the Bear is kind of like the one cool little gimmick for me as a Disney fan.
Yeah, and again, it's like there are inklings of really good directions to go in the special. Okay, so Max is kind of coming to grips with, my father keeps screwing up Christmas and it's affecting other people. We've got to do something to stop this. Again, the direction is hinted at, not really brought home or focused on. Pete, us empathizing with Pete of like, okay, well, Goofy's getting on his nerves and we should be rooting for Pete and we want to find some common ground here, make everyone happy. We're not getting there. We're just by the end, hey, we all bonded over not getting eaten by a bear. That's the rationale. That's the resolution. It's not really much of a resolution.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we have really good bits though with the sledding, good animation. Again, Pete has a lot of good one-liners. Again, they're fun moments. It's just story-wise, it's weak. It's weak sauce story-wise for me.
It is. I'm not going to argue with you there. Jacob, any thoughts?
Yeah, I can't pretty much top what you guys said. I mean, like, I've definitely seen stronger Goof Troop episodes and stronger Christmas specials.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I've definitely seen stronger of both. I just think the potential for Goofy to have a good Christmas special is up there. So
I think the one that was in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a perfect example of a good Goofy Christmas special. That maintained its goofiness.
Definitely. But also had a huge amount of heart. That was kind of like Goofy movie-esque.
That was not eaten by a bear.
Mm-hmm. Oh God. Okay, so tropes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jay, by all means, feel free to join and just list off some tropes that we talked about. We brought up Christmas tropes. Silent Night, singing Silent Night, having a little Charlie Brown tree.
Yeah, little Charlie Brown tree, decorating, caroling, kind of
having
over-emphasis.
the fake tree conversation.
I actually have one of those on my desk.
Milk and cookies for Santa.
Yep. Well, more like bagels and guacamole, but yeah.
It's the thought that counts.
Okay, let's see. You already mentioned decorations. Embarrassing Christmas traditions.
Traveling for the holidays.
Yep. Going to kind of a snow-covered cabin.
Mm-hmm.
Sentimental gift.
Sentimental gift.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. Good one.
Sledding.
Sledding. Yes.
That kind of goes with decorator. I was going to say the eccentric decorator, but Clark Griswold. But you already got it in there.
Reverse Scrooge.
Being electrocuted by the lights.
There you go.
Fusion Scrooge.
Is our Mirror Scrooge. Mirror Scrooge meets kind of halfway Scrooge.
There goes Mr. Humbug.
Okay, let's see. Would you say maybe kind of like making the best of Christmas in spite of shitty circumstances at the end?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Because they're all in a cave and they basically have nothing, but hey, we're fucking celebrating because Christmas.
Okay, I guess because of the little capper at the end, sure.
I'm not saying it's strong, I'm just saying it's there.
They're celebrating about thinking about going to Bahamas next year.
Christmas blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the Christmas storm out. Like you can basically storm off and or basically someone is like they lose their
alone in the storm. Alone in the storm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see. I think that's about it.
I can't think of anything else.
Having nowhere to go for the holidays. Because Gavin is destroyed. So.
All right, so that is a fair amount of tropes here, folks, and that is what we do. We like to bundle up the tropes, hopefully in a better way than Goofy bundles up stuff, and hopefully in a less destructive way. But we like to bundle up the tropes, and we like to examine them and really get into the nitty gritty of those tropes.
Yeah, but if only we had a name for this process, you know, if only we could chow down our rock soup and we could just kind of the three of us could like chow down some rock soup and you just kind of put on our steel grill so we can actually chew the stuff and we just you know what? If only there were a name for this process, what would it be called? Tiki, you got any ideas?
I think so. It's putting the mistletoe underneath the microscope. Next time on Christmas in July.
Brought to you by Rock Soup.
Rock soup.